Hi everyone, my name is Natalie. Today I wanted to do a currently reading video. So we are about halfway through Nonfiction November and I was really excited about Nonfiction November coming up. As you know, I love nonfiction and I had kind of big plans for the month, as you would be able to see in my TBR for the month. And that hasn't really happened as much as I would have liked to. I haven't read as much as I would have liked to, and I haven't followed my TBR as strictly as I was initially planning, partly because I ended up picking a lot of long books and I just haven't really been I haven't really had that time to really sink into those. So yeah, today I just wanted to sort of check in with the books that I'm currently reading. All of them are nonfiction, and to share with you my current thoughts, and hopefully I can talk about a few of these in more detail at the end of the month. Two books that I had mentioned on my TBR is Bill Evans' How My Heart Sings by Peter Pettinger. This is a biography of the jazz pianist, and it's partly talking about his musical career, all of the people that he's worked with and the places he's played and the records he's made. There's also a bit of analysis, I would say, in Pettinger's writing, which is something I'm actually really enjoying. And that is probably the thing that is making me slow down my reading of this, because initially I had planned to read this quite quickly because I was enjoying it so much, but quite soon I figured out that I needed to take my time with this because there's a lot of things I want to have time to think about, and I'm also listening to most of the music mentioned for Bill Evans anyway. There's a lot of other artists mentioned in the book as well, and I haven't had the time to listen to all of them yet, but I've been listening to Bill Evans' records as they are mentioned and talked about in the book, so that makes it, that also limits the time that I can read this book. I need to be able to sit down and listen to the music and have a little bit of a calm atmosphere to be able to do that. So I'm really enjoying sort of combining the sound with the reading of this. So hopefully I can talk more about this at the end of the month, but it is, so far it's been a really great biography, and I think it has a good chance of being one of my favorites of the year. So yeah, still reading on this. A book that I've sort of put to the side for a little bit, but I'm sort of planning on reading it for a while, is The Bitter Angels of Our Nature, Why Violence Has Declined by Steven Pinker, that talks about violence in the West Europe and in the US declining since the Middle Ages, and this being sort of a declining trend that is of a general sense, of talking about the overarching trends of these countries, and this book is arguing for the fact that violence has declined in total, and arguing for why that is. I felt like this would be really relevant to me, and it has been, but there are also, sometimes I feel like it's not, I decided to pick this up for Nonfiction November because of its relevance to me, but also I probably should have considered the fact that it might not be the most relaxing reading to do, and I've had a lot of work to do with my, I've had a lot of course literature to read for school lately this month, so I haven't really been in the mood to be picking my way through this lately, but I think I will probably take my time with this and just read it over maybe a couple of weeks or even months, because it is such a big book and there's a lot of information in this. So some parts are really statistical as well. I think that a lot of his ideas are interesting, and obviously a lot of it is valid, but there are also some things I don't like about this book, in particular the lack of discussion about the measurements and the source material that he is basing his arguments on. I feel like sometimes he can put his arguments a little bit simplified, and especially this is a problem if someone reading this book are not familiar with the source material. I have a few issues with it, but I am enjoying sort of arguing with it as well. I read the first third of the book very quickly, and I think that is probably not the best way to go with this. So we'll be having it sort of in the background for a while, I think. But when I finish it, I will talk more about it. A book that I actually just bought last week, I think, on a whim because I thought it sounded interesting. I was in the art museum shop with my friend, and we were browsing, and there were a lot of interesting art history type books there. But this book I was really drawn to for a reason you will probably be able to tell why I was drawn to it. It is Curiosity by Alberto Manguel. Obviously the title of this drew me in immediately, and then the cover as well. But this book is about curiosity. It's about humans' wish to have ever-extending knowledge, and that is something I can obviously relate to, having changed my channel name very recently to Curious Reader. So the combination of a writer that I was interested in and a topic that obviously is close to my heart just sounded like something that was too good to pass up, and also the fact that this is published by Yale University Press, who I've noticed that a lot of nonfiction books that I am drawn to are published by them, and the Bill Evans biography was also published by them, so I'm starting to sort of associate Yale University Press with high quality nonfiction. So that was also a little bit of a pushover for getting this book. So I've just read the introduction of it. Hopefully I can make some progress with this weekend. In my TBR I had a book about birds because I'm always trying to read more bird nonfiction, but I didn't end up in the mood for that book because the book that I'm talking about is Mind of the Raven. I've heard that Bernd Heinrich has a very personal approach to his nature writing, more in the memoir aspect than in purely natural history, and I was more in the mood for something a little bit on the scientific side, so I decided to read this instead. It's called The Genius of Birds, and it's by Jennifer Ackerman. I've heard a lot of good things about this, including the review by Olive, which is one of the reasons I decided to buy this. But this is basically a nonfiction book about the intelligence in birds, as she calls it, the genius of birds, and the different ways that birds, the different kinds of intelligence in birds, and different behaviors that are a sort of intelligence. The book already opens with a really interesting discussion on the concept of intelligence and how we measure it, how we view it, what is intelligence for humans, and how do we try to apply that reasoning to other animals as well. So I am already really enjoying this. I've read about 50 pages of this, and I think this is really really exactly what I was looking for. Lastly, for my currently reading nonfiction is Victoria the Queen by Julia Baird. This is a biography of Queen Victoria. I decided to pick this up instead of The Victorian House because I knew that there was an audiobook of this, and I listened to the sample of it and really liked the narrator, so I have started listening to the audiobook and really enjoying this book. And the actual writing in this is also really fantastic. It starts off right before her birth and quite quickly comes into sort of the drama around her in the royal family. So it's a very fun and engaging biography already, so I think this will be a lot of fun. Those are the nonfiction books that I'm currently reading. If you've read any of these, I would love to hear your thoughts about them. If you're participating in Nonfiction November, I would love to hear what you're reading. Are you enjoying it? Let me know. I hope you're having a really good day and weekend, and I will talk to you soon.